Sometimes you have a method that returns any, and you need to cast that into a particular value. So maybe we know that we need this to be the age, and it's going to be int, and so we need to cast this into an integer. So we could say obj.asInt. And when we run this, because the obj is an any value, if we run it, we'll go ahead and see that it did execute correctly, and we forgot to print it. So if we print this to the screen, we'll see that it was run as obj to 99. Now, if for whatever reason we were working with a string and we wanted to use a name, so let's just call this casted so it's easier. And this was a name, and we'll call this was a string. We're expecting it to be a string, and we want this to be cast to a string. And of course, we want maybe our method, assuming this is from like an API or something like that, or some library that gives us back an any type somewhat for some reason. We know that number 2 returns hello. We can then cast that to a string, and then at this point in time going forward, we now have a string. And what that gives us is the ability to actually use different, for example, I have the length. I can do all different kinds of stuff with this as well. Let's even take this a step further and say that I had a data class person, and that person has a name, and that's a string. Then what I could do inside of here, if we say 5, I would then return back a person with the name of Don. Okay, and then so this is going to work because I'm going to have 2, and I'm going to return back the value of 2. But I could also do something like this. I could say 5. Now this, of course, is if we look at object obj, what do we have on it? What is it? It's any type, as you can see here. It's any. So the things that we can do with it, I can't, if I know that when I pass a 5 in, I'm going to get a person, I can't say any.name. Name doesn't exist because I'm working with an any type. So I need to cast that to a type in which I can work with it. So 5, let's go ahead and cast that to a person. I need to make this person. And now I have a person object. And what that means is now I can say casted. And now I have the name, and I also have the copy method, which is built into data classes, and everything else that data classes also have along with it, or any other class that you're working with. So now I can access the name. So I've basically turned this any type right here, any, and I've turned it into a person. So now when I work with this person object, which is right here, I can see that it's a person, and I can use the type system accordingly. So if I run this here, we'll see that we can run and we can get the object turned into a person. And that's how you can perform casting in Kotlin.